this will piss a lot of people off, but I don't think you should live with your wife.
What do you think makes a woman worth committing to these days?
So if you want an identity shift, you can't be around the people that have got you where you are now, because they'll hold you to who you currently are. But when I was in Thailand, I was free, so I started to talk about myself in a different way.
Did you ever have bad social anxiety when you were younger or no?
Yeah, I got a funny story about that, actually.
That was about to ask a crazy question. What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another podcast. Today, I got the boy, Jack Hopkins. How we doing?
Man, good to meet you, Frank.
You as
Thanks
well,
for
bro.
having me on.
Yes, of course. Jack's out here in the U.S. in Scottsdale. Had to hit up my homies, the Wiener Bros. Shout out to Carson and Jackson. Have the boy on right now. Chop it up for an hour here. So, guys, if you don't know who Jack Hopkins is, real quick, do an intro for you.
Who am I? Okay, Jack Hopkins. I was just a normal guy 3 years ago. I lived in the UK. I had a 9 to 5. I dropped out of university. I had a girlfriend, an apartment. And I was not satisfied with my life. I did not enjoy it. I had to drink a lot on the weekends to kind of get through that mundane week. And I decided after watching The Beach, which is a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, where he goes to Thailand, that I would save my money and move to Thailand. And that's what I did. So I saved up $15,000 and I left on a one-way ticket to Thailand, to Bangkok and then to the island of Koh Samui. Left my girlfriend, an apartment, and everyone I knew behind. And I started posting on Instagram and YouTube. And I made a self-development YouTube channel, Jack Hopkins, and originally it was called the CEO of Testosterone.
The OG days.
When we went and just ripped around Thailand and got in amazing shape and...
The gorilla days.
The gorilla days, yeah, you know about the gorilla days. And that's what we did, and then it turned into a business. It turned into 3 years I've been doing this now, making videos. I now live in Dubai, and I make videos for men to be the strongest versions of themselves and to take life by the balls, because why not? I mean, there's nothing else to do. So now my life looks drastically different. I travel around the world, I make YouTube videos and run a business, and yeah, life is very, very good. So that's me.
Very nice. Crazy story too. There was one day I watched a Hamza video and you were in it. I was like, who's this dude hanging with Hamza in Thailand? And then, yeah, you started posting pretty consistently back then. And you were like, I've been pushing this off for like 6 months or whatever. Yeah. And then, since then, the rest is history. So I've kind of watched the entire start and growth of where you're at now. So it's super dope to see. And I want to get into real quick, just jumping off the bat, you doing an entire change of identity and environmental change, something super drastic. I think that most people would probably feel super overwhelmed in, and so much uncertainty that they would get like analysis by paralysis, right? So what was that breaking point for you to really just say, I'm absolutely going to leave everything and I don't care what happens?
I remember the moment distinctly, actually. I was on my way back from my 9 to 5 and I was cold calling at the time. And that was not fun. I've been doing that for coming up on 3 years, 200 dials a day, cold calling for $2,000 to $3,000 a month.
Wow.
And I remember coming home and I used to listen to podcasts because I was pretty uncontent. And I remember hearing on a podcast about a young guy that had gone to Bali and changed his life around and left his sales job. And I heard that and I thought, fuck, man, maybe that could be me. I've seen The Beach. I've been saving my money. First thing I did, and this is quite important, I read Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey. That's a book about finance, because before I'd spend everything I had, and I would go into my overdraft. So I was never creating any distance between me and my paycheck. First thing I had to learn was a small amount of finance, so I actually had some money to go all in on the dream with. And then I saved that money, and it was a scary time. There was times where I wanted to turn back because I left my job, left the girlfriend, first moved home with my parents before I went to Thailand. And Max, my buddy who's here now, he's my videographer now, but back then it was the first time I'd hung out with him for a while because I hadn't lived near home. And I started seeing all my old school friends and seeing a couple of girls around town, and it was pretty sweet. It was a sweet life, and I nearly didn't take my flight to Thailand. I was nearly like, oh, maybe this would be okay. I could get a job around here, rent's free at my parents' house.
The comfort sat in a little bit.
The comfort started, and actually probably got my parents to thank for this. They just said, just go and try it. don't be scared to go and try it, which I'm blessed for them to say. They said, don't be scared to go all in. You can always come back if it doesn't work. You could just see it as a vacation, and you can find a job here. And I was like, yeah, you're right. That's what I'll do. And I took the jump, and it's actually that scared feeling. It's taking that jump. It's going out of the comfort zone. Going to somewhere new like that will age you fast. You'll grow up 4 lifetimes in a year of travel, because you've got to meet new people, new places, solve new problems. So if you want an identity shift, you can't be around the people that have got you where you are now, because they'll hold you to who you currently are. But when I was in Thailand, I was free. So I started to talk about myself in a different way. When I'd meet people and I had no following, I'd say I'm a YouTuber or I'm a social media guy.
Change your identity.
Yeah, that's just who I am. When I first met Hamza, I met Hamza in a gym in the island of Koh Samui. Didn't know who he was, but that was the first thing I said. I'm like, yeah, I'm an online business guy. I do social media. And he said to me, have you done YouTube yet? And I said, no, I've been putting it off. And he said, just do a daily video every day. And I was like, I'm not going to make them very good. And then he was like, it doesn't matter. Just do a vlog. Your life's interesting. Like, just hold the camera up and film. And that's what we teach now. That's what I teach people. Is that you can seriously change your entire life if you learn social media. And it doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be hard. You don't have to make these feature films and crazy vlogs. All you need to have is a story and a personality. I believe in the hero's journey.
Yep.
If you have the hero's journey, that's kind of the key story that we all like. That's the one that we like to listen to. 100%. That's what most movies are made of. That's what we teach in, we have a program called Icon Blueprint, and we teach guys, how do you find your hero's journey? Become the highest version of yourself and document that life so that people follow it and become inspired, and then you just teach the lessons that you overcame.
Yeah, you know, that was great right there. I'm glad you went into detail too, because going through those moments as an individual is very draining emotionally sometimes too. Like, everybody online likes to talk about like a rock hard mind and stuff like that. And like, yes, you have that, but still you're going to be faced with a lot of uncertainty. And on the outside looking in, it may look like they're unmoved, but internally they're like, nobody knows what the hell they're doing at the end of the day. Like, we're all figuring it out day by day, right? So I mentioned that because for someone out here listening right now that maybe doesn't have such supportive parents as you did,
yeah,
what sort of like talk would you give them, insight would you give them to really take that leap if they truly have that internal like desire to make that change?
Well, I'll break it down for you super simple. Whoever you are sitting here watching, you have one life that you get to use, and if you're even a tiny bit unfulfilled and think there's something you could do that might make you a little bit happier, your biggest risk is not taking that risk. Because one day you're going to be sitting there and you'll be about to die, and you're going to realize that there was never any risk at all other than not doing the things you wanted. You're going to sit there and think, fuck, why didn't I just go in on that and try it? Because now I'm dying anyway. You're gone anyway. We're all gone after a certain amount of time. Your limited time on this planet should be used to do the things that you want to do, and to try and find that. And I find the best way to find that is we actually know what we want when we're kids. We get fucked up somewhere in the middle, and then we try and realign on that. For me, I had to look back into my past to see where I was aligned. I do that by asking the question. We do this with our students. What would you do if you still had to work 4 or 5 hours a day, but you had all the money in the world, and you've done all the partying, traveling, all that stuff? You can live anywhere you want, but what would you do as a job? And when I asked myself that question, I said, I make videos because I've always loved it. I love film. I'd act. That's making videos. I love acting, performing. And I'd stay in the fitness space and go to the gym and help other people do that. And that kind of ended up as a combination of things I ended up doing in a weird way.
Exactly.
So I would ask yourself, what did you want when you were a kid before the world fucked you up?
Yeah, just being brutally honest with yourself too, because we get so much, there's so much noise that clouds your mind, you know what I mean? Especially now where everyone's so tapped in online, and it's easy to be distracted every 5 seconds, like quite literally on social media.
Yeah, try not to consume social media without intent. So what we teach is that if you're going to consume social media, be looking for trends, look at what's happening in the social media space, save reels, and repeat and do the things that those guys are doing to blow up, and put your own spin on it. don't just endlessly scroll social media because it make you depressed. You see everybody's life looks better than yours. It's not true. You just see the best bits of everybody's life. Well, I would say if you're going to use social media, be producing on social media. Produce your message, find your authentic self, put that out to the world. The more time you spend scrolling and looking at other people's stuff is going to get you down in the dumps.
It's like the grass is always greener on the other
Even
side.
I feel bad. My life's amazing
Yeah,
if I watch too much social media because there's someone with a better car and better girlfriend or better house.
Whatever thing to measure.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think we should compare ourselves too much because everyone's on their own path. You've got your own journey, your own lifeline. You might get it sooner or later than other people, but whatever time you get it is intended because you have to be in the right place to deal with the stuff that you deal with.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that I was thinking about as you were explaining that was just obviously getting real with yourself, number one, but also the trap of social media and the epidemic of isolated young men. Because everybody online likes to talk about like lock in, grind, hustle culture, right? I'm so opposed to that mindset and that way of life because you pretty much are just quite literally locking the door, locking in from all the stuff in real life that can actually come into your life in different opportunities. You know what I mean?
You're exactly right, Frank.
So, bro, literally all of the stuff, my online business, the people in my life involved, all this stuff happens with real life conversations. So, there's a time and a place to go on your computer, work at home and stuff like that. But I try so hard to spend as least amount of time as possible behind my computer screen.
Yep. The magic is in the moments.
Yeah.
If you want to have a life worth talking about, it's going to take doing something. And especially for content, I find if I lock myself in a room, what am I going to talk about? I'm not living.
Yeah, there's no experience.
I'm not doing anything. There's no experience there. And I think that's important. I think you should have discipline. But your discipline needs to be entwined in a life that scares you a little bit. And for so many people, that scared feeling is going out into the world. The reason they lock in because they are actually scared of social interaction.
Yeah, it's a cope.
It is cope. And actually your network is your net worth. We run a network as well for higher level entrepreneurs, the new elite. That's how we met the Wiener Bros. They joined our network a year ago. Now we're out in Scottsdale staying with them.
Yep.
The stuff that the Wiener brothers have taught us in our business in the last week of staying with them will make us an extra probably $50,000 this month. 15 of which we closed in the last 2 days already, just using a DM strategy.
Fire.
Yeah, which is just something that happens. It's the magic that you can't foresee. Mm-hmm. But I believe in having a network and meeting people and traveling around. It's
100%, dude. It's the lifestyle design.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You should really operate and live your life as if you were writing a book.
You touched on like, and I was kind of elaborating as well, like the whole coping thing with like saying, I'm going to lock in and use that as an excuse. Did you ever have bad social anxiety when you were younger or no?
Yeah, I've got a funny story about that actually.
Because I did too, and I'm the complete opposite.
Yeah, so when I was about 9 years old, we moved from England to Boston, USA, with my dad for 2 years. And I was shit scared of that because you just got taken out of your home environment and put into the USA. And I had to go to school in a new school and meet new people. Luckily, Americans are very sweet and very nice, and they like an English accent, so I got on okay. But I was still a pretty nervous guy, and I basically auditioned for this school show, and then I got the part that I wanted, but I didn't want to do it anymore, so I said no. And my dad found out about it. And my dad just sat me down and said, look, you said you were going to do it and you've got to do it. So I don't care how scared you are, you're going to have to go up there and you're going to have to do it now. And I would listen to him and I said, okay. And I was shit scared and I overcame that fear and a little bit my social anxiety went away. And then we would get taken to a lot of maybe like corporate functions or house parties with our parents. Well, there was other kids there, but a lot of adults. And I didn't like looking people in the eye and shaking their hand and stuff. And my dad sort of sorted that out of me and said, look, you've got to go up to 5 people here, shake their hand, ask them what they do for a living, and then you've got to come back and you've got to tell me. And I started doing that. And that actually took me into a career of my entire time growing up. I was doing musicals, shows, a little bit of acting here and there. And it shaped me. It shaped me as a person. You can absolutely overcome social anxiety with practice.
Yeah.
Everybody feels it, I think. It's everyone's biggest fear.
Yeah. Dude, that's crazy. I don't know many people personally that I don't. It might sound kind of messed up, but I don't know so many people that have parents that are so like supportive and so like on your shit to be on the right path. Like imagine there's so many people right now watching this that don't have that guidance, that don't have that voice, and don't have that person being like, you could do better, push through discomfort, right? Like I didn't have that.
Yeah.
And it was a long time for me to kind of do. I was doing like exposure therapy exercises for myself where I'd go out and just start talking to random people. I remember the first time I went to Miami, bro, I was 20 and I went by myself. I knew nobody there at the time in the info space or online space. And dude, I went to this restaurant in South Beach, sat next to a couple at the bar, underage. I had a fake ID. It's gone in the past, right? And dude, I was shitting my pants because I was telling my mind like I want to talk to people, but I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And that pain right there, bro, was like, okay, maybe this environment's a little too much for me to do right now for where I'm at in my life. And then, long story short, worked back up to it. And now, like, I'm hosting dinners with like groups of people, throwing events and stuff like that with people. And like, I'm like the main source of communication. And it's such a way better freeing feeling. So for you right now, how old are you, 25, 26?
26.
Okay. For you right now, what do you think the biggest lever is in terms of overcoming that social anxiety? What is an actionable thing someone can do watching this right now?
One thing I teach is you want to first develop yourself a little bit, because if I'm being completely honest with you, if you walk out the house and you're fat as fuck and you've never looked after yourself and you've never been to the gym and you don't dress well and you've not had a haircut
Just
and
cooked.
you look like shit and you're cooked and you go and start cold approaching girls or going and talking to people, you're going to get told to fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, there's not many people tell you that, but you will. Like, there's an element of everybody that judges you on the way that you look and the way that your aura is when you walk into a room. And that's fine, because this stuff you can fix on your own. You can fix this stuff. You need to go to the gym. You need to lift heavy. You need to not eat so much so that you get lean. You need to train until failure on every set. Most guys don't train anywhere near hard enough, I've found. Like, they'll say, oh, we'll do 4 sets of 12. And it's like, they complete each 4 sets of 12 easily and then move on to the next thing. It's like, no, every 12, if you can do 12, do 20. Do it until you can't put the weight back. Tear the muscle properly. And then go and eat the right stuff, get to sleep on time, get a haircut, get some new clothes and style, go through Pinterest or find some stuff that you like. And then you're well put together. Give it 2-3 months, depending on where you start. You're well put together guy. And anybody can do that. When you're at that point of looking respectable, looking after yourself, I would get and whilst you're doing this, I would get a camera out and I would start speaking to a camera as if it was a person before you go outside the house. Because what you want to do to practice is you want to not only practice, but also review the stuff that you've taken. So if you do a 2-minute video every day of you talking to camera about something, and then you watch it back, you'll notice, okay, I use way too many filler words. Like I use ums and ahs all the time. I say the word like. I twitch or touch my face in a certain way. And then the next day, you just write down 3 of those things that you'd like to change, and you slowly work through them. And now within 3 months of training properly, eating the right things, looking after yourself, getting a little bit of style, practicing speaking every day to a camera and reviewing something every day, in 3 months' time, you'll be a different person. Then you can walk outside the door. And what I would recommend doing to start is talk to anyone and everyone. Like, talk to the cashier at the checkout. Talk to the waitress and just ask an extra question. Don't think about things too much. Just go and riff. For example, this is a pretty crazy one to the level that I operate at now. We're walking down the street yesterday and a girl walks by us. Max looks at me. I look at the girl because he sort of said to me, oh, she's hot.
Yeah.
I look at the girl. I said, hey, what are you doing? Just out of nowhere. Hey, what are you doing? Oh, I don't know. I'm just trying to find somewhere to go to dinner. I said, all right, come for dinner with us. She come for dinner with us. We just went out for dinner with this random girl in Scottsdale, chatted to her. She was a nice girl. And yeah, we had a good time. And that's how crazy your reality can change.
That's living, bro. That's in the moment.
Like you can just...
You're not going to find that shit behind your computer, bro.
You're not going to. You can bend reality in that way. And you'd be so surprised that people are not opposed to that. If you are the right kind of man.
Yep.
So we went for dinner with her and nothing happened there, but it was just nice.
Still a fun story.
Yeah, at least we didn't look gay, fucking sitting together, fucking two of us having a romantic dinner. At least we had a chick to talk to. It's nice to have female energy around.
Of course it is.
And that's what you can do with your life. Like, if you put the work in.
You know what I realized too is like, even when you were, doing those habits, building up those systems for yourself, getting in better shape, looking better, your social anxiety is going to start to fall away gradually anyways, because like you have way more trust in yourself and you're like, I'm that guy type energy.
Yeah.
And then of course that always helps a lot in social situations.
Your aura will improve over time. You will become comfortable, and you will realize that nothing matters really. Nobody's really judging you. Everyone's so in their own head that they have really no concern for what you're doing or saying. And understand that you'll be rejected, and you've got to be very good at just brushing that stuff off. It still happens to me.
Yeah.
You go and talk to someone and they're not interested, and you have enough value in yourself to walk away and not even care.
Yeah.
I always think it's their loss, and you have to think that way. You have to think anything that doesn't go your way in life, or somebody that doesn't like you, doesn't want you, all of those things, it's their loss because of the value you believe you have in yourself, and you just believe that person doesn't see it.
100%. Like, I'm the party. You're not invited now.
Yeah.
You have a really good thought process, I believe. Well, number one, you have a series on your channel all about reality transurfing, where you'll break down certain chapters, certain insights. And I think that's really good because that book can be kind of confusing to read, even the audiobook itself. So when you kind of break it down, it's very digestible. So you broke down one of the points. I forget exactly what it was from the book, but it was the concept in a way where it's like you're kind of like letting go to be more successful. And to elaborate on that, it's like there was a time in my life, and I'm curious to see what you think too, if you went through something similar, where it's like your grip on life is so tight that like it can't breathe. You know what I mean? And there's a point with my business where I was like trying to grip on it, trying to man the ship with my bare hands, and it wasn't steering. So mentally I was like, all right, this is not getting me anywhere. I kind of have to let go and trust God, and also just do what I have to do without really being so emotionally attached. And what's crazy is then I was starting to hit record months afterwards.
Yep.
So I think that there's a really weird like energy about that, where you're able to let go. You have more of an abundance feeling to it. So then things just work itself out. What do you think of that?
Yeah, you block your magic and your energy when you try and force things too much. It's called excess importance in the book, Reality Transurfing.
That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically when you put so much importance on it that the universe can no longer give it to you. It runs away. It's like when you chase something too hard, it runs away. You have to attract it. You have to not need it so much. I had a similar story in my life. When I first got to Thailand, I wasn't making good money.
What were you doing at this point, numbers-wise?
When I first got to Thailand, I was doing fitness coaching on just Instagram before I did YouTube.
Because you have 15K saved up right here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
15K saved. I was doing between $1,000 and $2,000 a month in fitness coaching.
That was it?
That was it.
Wow.
When I was in Thailand. And I spent my 15 grand within probably 3 months. Because, of course you can. Like, if you're a G. I spend far more than that now, but
yeah,
that was a lot for me back then. But I blew that, yeah. As any young man should, if he's going somewhere for the first time. I've never believed in living small. I don't pinch pennies. I don't save. I'd go balls to the wall, and I did. Yeah. And I've spent my 1,000 or 2,000 a month, every month like clockwork, a few days after I get it. And then I went into debt on my credit cards, about $5,000. I actually had to buy my own program because I couldn't take out cash on an Amex. So I had to
liquidate it?
Yeah, I had to buy my own stuff on Stripe so I could liquidate it through my account.
Wow.
On my own credit cards. And I was at a turning point for me where I was out of money and really wanted to stay in Thailand, and I was driving myself nuts. I was so stressed, putting so much pressure on myself. I remember going back home, screaming in my apartment, like in the shower and stuff. Like I was just driving myself insane trying to make something work.
Yeah.
And then I just decided when I took my last sort of $1,000 out cash, and I had enough rent for the month and a bit of extra cash. And I was like, I'm fucking done with this. I'm not going to be stressed about this anymore. Look at my life. This is what I always wanted. I've had freedom for months and not enjoyed it because I've been worried about money. I'm going to make this work. And I relaxed a little bit and I said, oh, look, I've got a girlfriend. If I run out of money, I'll just live with her in some hut in Thailand and she'll just look after me and I'll regroup and find some way to do something. And just shortly after that, I started doing YouTube videos, and I launched my first ever product, which was a Triple Your Testosterone program, because after I left my 9 to 5, I had very low testosterone, did a shit ton of research on naturally boosting it. And that was my first product for $99. It took us to 10K a month in our first month off of our YouTube vids.
Awesome.
And we scaled it up to about 20. And then we moved on through our other stuff and the stuff we teach now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it does take letting go of your grip on the world and still doing the work, but doing it in a place of love. Doing it from a place of, look, I got to do something. And if I enjoy doing this, then let me just do it rather than stress myself out about it.
Yeah, it's kind of reframing your mindset. Like, yeah, you're going to do the work either way, right? But you can't really control the ultimate outcome. All you can control is the inputs. And I think once you can reframe that to be healthier, like you said, like from a place of abundance and love, you're just naturally going to be more successful anyways and enjoy your life. Like your life quality, way better. Way better.
If I could look back on all the times that I've spent worrying about things going wrong or going right.
Yep.
And if I could just go back and just not worry, I would, because you waste so much time that you don't get to enjoy the magic of those moments.
Yeah, exactly.
And nothing ever really goes bad.
I know.
As long as you're not fucking up and you know when you're fucking up.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you're not being a deadbeat and you're just, I don't know, hanging out, playing video games, doing drugs, drinking a lot of alcohol. As long as you're not doing that and you're trying your best, you're going to be all right. The world's going to look after you.
100%.
Because not many people are trying.
Mm-hmm. Not many are. That's a really good point. Well, you don't live here in Scottsdale, but this is like, you know what's crazy is Scottsdale is the second city in the entire world that has the most millionaires coming here in the entire world.
God bless.
Isn't that crazy?
That's incredible.
So like when you're out here in these environments, or maybe even like Dubai, for example, or maybe like downtown Brickell, it's like, it's super easy to think everyone's like this, or, you know, everyone's insanely successful. Yeah. Whatever the case is, however you want to measure it. But in general, nobody's really doing anything. And how was your, it's kind of off topic, but like, how was your hometown situation? Were people like getting out of their hometown doing big things, or was it like chill?
A few of us broke out, but the thought process in England, and one of the reasons I've loved being in the USA so much, is because you guys don't limit each other. You're confident. You put energy into each other. It's good to be good here. It's good to be great here. Yeah. Like, people say, well done. They want you to get up on karaoke and sing, for example, and then they'll cheer you afterwards.
Hell yeah.
And they want to know that you're making money. And they want to see you in a nice car. In the UK, unfortunately, and this isn't everyone, but there's a large portion of the UK, they're fucking jealous crabs in a bucket, dragging everybody back down. And I don't think it should be like that. And I think one of the saving graces of my personality is that I spent 2 years in the USA, getting filled with confidence from wonderful people, saying I could do great things with my life. And if you don't have that in your life right now, and you're in the UK, fuck what everybody else thinks. Start watching people that inspire you. And just know that you can do anything. Because you can. Because you absolutely can. And the people around you, if they don't think that way, just fuck them.
I remember when I was like 15, 16, all I did was start to consume YouTube content. And one of the biggest inspirations for me was watching FaZe and FaZe Clan.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, super random. I used to like play a ton of video games when I was younger.
Yeah.
And
now you're a stud.
Yeah, hell yeah, come on out. I appreciate that. But no, I was watching.
6'7" stud.
Close. Was this? Oh yeah, that's right. So I would watch their videos. Okay, so I'm from the suburbs in New Jersey. Just like quiet. No one, you know, people make good money, but no one's like doing it crazy. Yeah. And I always knew like I didn't want to go to college. I did not want to work a regular job. I just watched these guys. They made videos and they made a shit ton of money. And I was like, I want to do something like this, whether it's making Call of Duty videos or something. I need my life set up to be on my terms. And, obviously if I was just sitting around talking to people in my real life, no one's doing that.
No.
Right. So I think
You do realize everybody's going for the mediocre.
yeah.
Everyone at the middle of the pack is the most competition.
And then they'll settle.
You want a 100K a year job, you've probably got the most competition you could possibly get, 100 to 250. And to be quite honest with you, after taxes, you're really not making a lot of money.
No.
Not enough to live this lifestyle.
No, definitely not.
Nowhere near. And there's just so many easier ways to make it. How easy it is to make 10 grand a month right now online with social media is ridiculous.
Yep.
If you've just got a little bit of something about you and you get some guidance.
Yep.
That's one of the first things I needed. I bought a personal branding course when I started out. And I just started posting.
Just running it up ever since.
You start running it up, have a bit of personality, get trained, try a few different things, never quit.
Actually, you mentioned, or you kind of made me think of this right now, the whole kind of cowboy vibe, right? Or it's like you kind of lean into a character.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is something you teach within your mentorship group or the New Elite or whatever, or your other program, but do you actively help guys find like their male archetype to lean into?
Yes.
How important do you think that is?
That's absolutely important. One of the most important things in life is to not be like everybody else. If you want an exceptional life, don't be like everybody else, which means you've got to design your own style, your own character, your own way of talking, your own stories. Be unique, because that's the only thing you can win at. That's the only thing that you will ever be good at, is being you. Everybody else, if you try and be somebody else's character, it won't work.
Mm-hmm.
And we teach that in the form of, in order for the hero to become the hero, he must go on a journey. You look at Frodo Baggins. When he leaves the Shire, he's a little hobbit that's scared to leave his house. And that's probably what most people are. That's what I was. I was a little hobbit and I was scared to leave the house. I then went on this great journey like he does. He goes to the fires of Mount Doom to throw the ring into Mordor, and he has these trials and tribulations along the way, and he meets people and has a fellowship. That's exactly what happened in my life. I went on trials and tribulations, going after the dream that I wanted. And by the end of the movie, Frodo Baggins is somebody that you can respect, and he becomes a hero and finds himself. And that's what we will have to find in our own lives. We find a journey. I found a journey that scared the shit out of me, that had ups and downs and loads of different trials and tribulations, that led me to a place where I could talk to other people about that stuff. And that's the beauty of life.
Yeah, bro. Kind of random switch up here, but I actually have a nicotine pouch in my mouth right now, and you had a video go somewhat get good views pretty recently, and it was all about how it ruined your life, right? So you were taking a shit ton, to be fair, bro. You were taking so much.
Yeah. A pretty addictive personality, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, I think a lot of hyper successful guys
Yeah.
are. You're cold turkey right now?
Yeah. I just found the nicotine pouches at the start. I was like, oh, these help me focus a bit more and work a bit better. And like, as soon as I find something that will do that, I'm
Use
like,
it.
fuck yeah, bang, 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 bang. If it makes you money, it's tied to how much money you make, how many videos you can make, all that stuff. It's very hard to give that up. But basically what I found nicotine pouches do for you is they steal your body energy and they put it in your mind. And they do that fairly effectively for the first month or two, and then it becomes a bit of a fallacy that really the focus that you think you're getting is not so good. You were actually probably more focused before. It's like when you absolutely blitz caffeine for a long time and it stops working. And I got it to the point where we were doing 15 to 20 milligram nicotine pouches a day, which for you Americans, you find that crazy because you don't go that high.
Bro, I'll take like 3 milligrams a day. That's it.
I don't think that's the end of the world. For me, my entire body was depleted of energy and everything became a struggle to get to the gym. No sex drive. I think my test came down. I stopped doing it and I finally got my fire back and my fucking lust for life back. So
Awesome.
Yeah, I just would say if you're doing the nicotine stuff on a high level, it will fuck you up.
I think the big thing too is stacking dopamine in a way too, where you're stacking the Rogue or Zyn or whatever velo you were using. You stack that with caffeine, you stack that with wins in business or whatever the case is. You're now tying all of that together to be, I need this to get XYZ solution.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it becomes dangerous.
You're going to end up pretty depleted doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I've always found you should really try and take care of your health and your well-being, because you can't operate on that level forever. And if you really want to be a success, it's going to take a long time, and it's going to take a lot of wins consistently over a long time. So try and live in a way that you can live every day without burning out, without making yourself sick, for example. Like maybe you can't do 12 hours of work in a day, but you can do 4. And you could do 4 every day instead of doing 12 hours of work for a month on Zins and caffeine and whatever else you want to take and then crashing out.
Yeah, it's not it.
It's not it. Also, don't take Adderalls or Ritalins or any of that sort of stuff. That's if you rely on them for work, it will be super tough. I did them before, but only for like sprints.
Just like the grind really
like
hard.
3 days if I had like a shit ton of stuff to do.
Yeah.
But I've only done that once, and I would stay away because the come down's pretty bad off them.
Yeah, I've done Adderall probably 4 or 5 times in my life, and yeah, the come down, bro. Talk about social anxiety.
Yeah.
Holy, I took not even anything crazy, just like a 10 milligram, and me and my buddy went to his apartment when he still lived here, and we worked for like 12 hours, and then went up to our party room where we're having like a little like hangout with a bunch of people. I literally couldn't.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, I literally couldn't stand there without my heart racing and being like so stuck on my head, and I was like, I got to get the hell out of here. And that's exactly what I did. I left.
Yeah.
Well, no, I haven't done it since.
No, that's good.
But you know, when we were talking here too, you mentioned you had a girlfriend before and stuff like that. Have one in Thailand and stuff like that. Do you have a girl right now?
It's a complicated situation, but
Okay.
I'll probably say no.
Okay.
As much as she won't want to hear that.
Okay. Then I'm actually curious, really curious to see what you're going to say to this then. What do you think makes a woman worth committing to these days?
I would say it's a very difficult situation when you're young, because when you have a girlfriend, you have a certain element of responsibility to them to make them happy. And I think the girlfriend that I just had, she had a lot of the good features. She's super caring. She's all in. Like, she's the number one fan. She is all in on me, but at the same time, that comes with a lot of responsibility for me, because she can be a little crazy. She can want to have an element of control in my life. And I'm a Sagittarius.
Me too.
We don't like that.
I'm December 7th.
December 5th.
Okay.
Awesome. But we yearn for freedom. And as much as I love having a relationship at times, and I think it can be good for a man, it's also a comfort zone. It's a comfort zone, and if it stops me from operating in a way where, okay, now I've got to bring her everywhere with me, or now I need to go and travel and see her all the time, or I've got to call her now every day. And I said to her many times, I can't do that. The way my life operates, I'm not going to be able to do that. I can't give you the attention that you need or desire all the time. And to be quite frank, you calling me all the time and trying to make me do this is putting me off.
Yeah.
And so that's why I had to end it on this trip, actually, in the USA, because I'm not here for being controlled. I'm here for living the way that I want to live. So for me, for a girl to be worth committing to, she has to let me go and be the man that I need to be. And actually, in her leaving that distance, I will be more fond of her.
Yep.
And I'll look after a woman very well, financially, emotionally support them, but I just can't do it so intense when I'm on a run. And I think a lot of guys should look at that, because unless your girl is the perfect girl for you, like your dream girl, and not only is she your dream girl in looks and her personality and the way that she treats you and gives you space and operates around you, that she's the right age, that she's would make a good partner, that she hasn't got too many bodies. Unless it's like that, she's probably holding you back.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably stopping you from doing stuff rather than pushing you forwards.
I was going to say 100% agree with you. And even to add on top of that, I was watching a podcast. I was making lunch the other day. It was Bradley Martin and Sneeko. And it just came out like 5 days ago. And Bradley Martin asked Sneeko basically a similar question. And I liked Sneeko's answer. And he said something I never heard of before. And he was like, I just want to find somebody that I can actually get along with and keep coming back to, where the negatives don't outweigh the positives. And like, you know, the whole question was like, you know, you've changed your mind on so many things, like the red pill space type thing. You've gone back and forth with like wanting to date an Eastern chick or Western chick, whatever the case is. And then that's what he's kind of concluded, you know, being out here living, getting experience and stuff. And I also agree with that. You know, everything you said plus that.
I think we're very young for conclusions. I used to think I wasn't. When I first started doing podcasts, I used to think I was the shit and I had all the answers. I was 22, 23. Now I realise I have really few answers, especially in the realms of love. For me, it's just not a huge focus right now for that stuff. I don't think... Yeah. Yeah, it's certainly a tough one. It's certainly a tough one. Female energy is very, very good. It's just, something you've got to manage.
Mm-hmm. And that's when it comes back to them giving you space. And that's something my girlfriend's really good at.
For me personally, yeah.
Me too, bro.
Yeah. Problem for me is like my girlfriend would, she wants to come over all the time. She would like to go everywhere with me. But I'm not in a position to do that. I need space. I need my own time to let my brain work and do its own thing.
Do you also agree as well then that a man and woman should not live together full time?
Absolutely.
Me too.
Absolutely, and I agree that into marriage, this will piss a lot of people off, but I don't think you should live with your wife.
I'm on the same page as you.
Clip that up and shout at me. But I don't believe a man should live with his wife. So the ideal setup for me would be I'd have a house with children and a wife, and I would have a penthouse or office that I go and do my work in, and maybe live in Monday to Friday, and I come home on the weekends. And that's just because of the way my life runs and my current business. This might change in the future, but that's what I would do, because you've got to have men around you to win. I like to have men around me to push each other harder. I don't like the softening effect of living with a woman.
That's so huge, bro.
She softens you. She takes away your edge. And I don't think that's positive if you want to conquer. And I think she respects you more. Imagine how good it is to go and see your kids and your wife on the weekend when you've worked really hard all week. Yeah. And then you go back and she's excited to see you. And the kids are excited to see you. And you have good sex because you're not fucking doing it every day. And if you don't have that, what happens in most relationships in the West? The man and the woman don't like each other anymore. They're like, oh, the old ball and chain. That's how people speak about their wife. Why would you speak about your wife like that? That should be the woman that you love with all your heart. Oh, it's the ball and chain. I'll do what the old ball and chain tells me. You're going to let a woman tell you how to live your life? That's insane that we give that responsibility to women. And they don't even want it.
No.
They don't want to make the decisions. They don't want to do that. They want to feel your masculine energy in your presence. They want to know that you can guide them. They want to feel you tell them, whenever a girl shit tests you, whenever a girl pushes back, all she wants to know is that you're masculine enough to put her in her place. She's just testing your masculinity. She doesn't want to control you. She wants to feel your energy. She wants to feel your power. That's what she wants to know. And so this is what would happen. You'd go and get your penthouse. You'd have the wife at home. She'd say, oh, you're not home enough, blah, blah, blah. All she wants to see is that you can hold frame. Most people don't understand that, and they let somebody else run their life because they don't take extreme ownership and accountability for the things that they do. Mm-hmm. And they let their wife make the decisions, and she ends up unhappy, and you end up unhappy, and that's one of the biggest problems. And the kids end up unhappy, and that's where bad relationships is born from.
Yep.
Because somebody decided that that's what we should start fucking teaching people, and it's bullshit.
Yeah, it is. Like most things we've been taught growing up.
Mm-hmm.
But even adding on to that, we've had that conversation, me and her, where it's like, eventually, if we were to get married, we're not going to live together full time. Like, you're going to have your own living space. Yeah. I'm going to have my own living space. Yeah. And she's on board with that. Like, she knows, the more time a man and girl or a guy and girl stay together, the worse the dynamic gets. Because you have the masculine and feminine, obviously, it starts to become like this, bro. And then there's no polarity. So, like, I even noticed this when she was living with me at my place for, like, 3 weeks. Mm. And I'm like, holy shit, this is actually happening to me. Like, I'm fucking, this is not going to happen to me. Yeah. But it still did.
Your test will go down.
Well, that's a whole different conversation I want to have here in a minute. But it's so true. I think a lot of guys aren't even aware that's a real thing. It's like, if I live with my chick, or if my chick lives with me, I'm going to be emasculated. I'm going to lose my edge, as you said. And that's your number one priority as a young guy trying to be successful is your edge.
Stop finishing with your chick when you fuck him as well.
You would get along really good with my buddy Jacob. He's been 9 weeks retained, but he'll still link up with chicks like 3 to 4 times a week.
Yeah, you give a girl the time of their life if you just don't.
He's crazy.
Because what happens as soon as most guys come 5 minutes, and the girl's not satisfied. If you don't do that, if you release prolactin, oxytocin, basically things that make you weaker and more like a woman, and they kill your drive. Because what's your sole drive as a man? Your sole drive as a man is to reproduce. It's the reason we do anything. It's the reason I dress like this. It's the reason I make money or make YouTube videos. It's the reason we do anything. Mm-hmm. Internally in us, we want to better make and we want to reproduce. That's why we're wired. That's how the human race exists. So if you go and achieve that and you just blow your load into a condom or whatever without making a child, basically wasting your chi, your life force. If you don't do that, you can fucking knock. You've still got the life force. So not only do you want to fuck more because you want to go again and again and again, and she'll love that, but you'll also have your energy for your work and your business and all that sort of stuff. And don't even get me started on masturbation. Like, it's bad enough with a chick. Like, that's a once a week kind of affair, in my opinion. Fuck her all week. Do not fucking masturbate.
That was about to ask a crazy question. Well, how old were you when you kind of came to that realization that I should chill out doing this?
Yeah, I think every man gets to a point in his life where he's not satisfied a woman. Where he has a woman turn around to him and say, oh, you finished too quick, or you're shit in bed, or your dick's small, or something that hits his confidence. And yeah, I had that. Like, you speak to a girl, or I had a girlfriend that was like, yeah, I've never finished. And I was like, what the fuck?
That's crazy.
Oh, shit. I thought I was a stud. And then you realize you're not. And then you start reading, educating yourself on this stuff. And I started doing this stuff. And I've also boxed before. I've had boxing fights. And you shouldn't come when you're boxing into a fight camp. And I just noticed how much better my energy was with women, how much more they want to fuck, how much more I was fucking, and how much more I was satisfying women in that period of time to then just learn that stuff. And then you go a bit more into the research. You understand hormones and your hormone profile, and you realize that this stuff's actually really affecting you
100%
in your life. And I don't think it's a problem I don't think you have to retain for a crazy long period like your friend. Like, for example, if I do that, I'm a nightmare because I can't think about anything else.
Yeah, I'll be so irritable.
Exactly, I can't think about anything else. But I just think like once a week with a chick, and you can fuck her maybe 10, 20 times in that week, and then you once a week. That's a pretty good way to do it. That'll keep your energy good. You can go a little bit longer. In a fight camp, I did 8 weeks, but I lost that fight, so.
Shit.
Maybe I was too wound up.
Maybe.
Yeah.
As we're getting down here the last 10, 12 minutes here,
yeah,
you were talking about hormones, and I believe hormones and understanding your hormones is the first and necessary step to really understand how your body functions, because everyone's body's different. Throwing it back to the OG CEO of Testosterone days, right? Have you messed around with any PEDs? I know you've talked about, not SARMs, but peptides, yeah. So what is your current go-to right now? What would you take in anything?
Nothing. No, nothing right now.
Okay.
I was, I'll run you through the stuff I've taken.
Yeah.
So up until I was 23, I'd never touched anything at all outside of creatine and that sort of stuff. I've never run any anabolics, no testosterone, none of that sort of stuff. And then I came across peptides on an Andrew Huberman podcast. Him saying that, look, peptides can increase your natural production of hormone. You can come off and on them without having any withdrawal effects. It's not going to affect my natural production. And I took Huberman's stack for about 3 months, BPC 157, TB 500, and tesamorelin. And I took that for about 3 months. So I got super lean and I could train twice a day and heal real quick.
Were you taking this orally?
No. BPC was orally, and then TB and tesamorelin are subcutaneous fat injections.
So you just pin it?
I was pinning it every day.
Okay.
And I'm not a big fan of needles. So I was doing that, and over time, just over those 3 months, I did get pretty lean, but it's not a crazy effect. Like, this isn't like steroids. This is They increase a bit of growth hormone, allow you to heal faster. And then I just stopped taking them because they're pretty expensive. I didn't like pinning myself every day. I was getting some irritation around my stomach. And for the past, probably year now, I've been totally natural.
Okay.
I was considering doing testosterone again. I took a couple of injections at the start of the year and it just irritated my stomach again, like a mosquito bite kind of thing. And I've got super high test naturally. I take a natural supplement stack that I researched way back in the day that gives you all the ingredients to boost your testosterone. I take that stack and my testosterone's up near 1,000 nanograms per deciliter anyway.
Wow.
With great free tests. So I have no need to take testosterone. I have no need to take anabolics. And I could get a couple of extra results with the peptides, but I just don't see the point right now. If you have your stuff lined up. We're actually re-releasing the testosterone stack, the original product we ever did.
Okay.
Because now I've done shit tons of blood work, loads of a massive look into male health and hormones. I've learned a lot about it. I believe I've got the perfect supplement stack for a guy to boost his testosterone. So we're going to re-release that and give guys a proper look into male health, how they should train, the programs they need, the nutrition they should have for testosterone. And we're going to release that again. It was $99 before. It'll be $99 again. We'll do an updated version of that and put it out because I think it's important stuff and people
100%.
want to learn that from me.
Very dope.
Yeah.
That's one of the topics I thoroughly enjoy is researching like hormones and stuff.
So good.
Yeah, I'll spend hours every day, not every day, but hours every week. I'll watch like More Plates, More Dates.
Yeah, he's so good.
Greg Doucette, Andrew Huberman, even some like Joe Rogan clips from like years ago where he has people on and they have like such an understanding on certain things where it's like, oh, that makes so much sense. And then you just do even more research.
Yeah.
Who are some of the people that you're watching right now? Some of the best creators that you watch to get inspiration, to get insights. Do you even watch content?
Not so much anymore.
Okay.
I used to a lot. Back in the day, I used to watch First Man.
Dude, oh man, back in the basement or the garage he was in years ago.
Chris.
Yep.
Shout out Chris. He's actually a good friend of mine. And we've done collabs together and stuff. And
I'd love to chill him.
But I used to love his content back in the day. Obviously Tate.
Oh yeah.
Like people really should continue to watch Tate. Mm-hmm. He's got it right on a lot of things. And there's so much stuff. You have to know what he's doing just for views and what he's doing seriously. But working hard and having a brotherhood and training every day and not letting your mind get in the way of that is his core message. And it's the same as my core message. And it's really fucking important. So I still watch Tate from time to time. But most of the time I just try and live now and come up with my own answers. I'm not even reading that much at the moment. I'm on a big sort of exploration of the conclusions that I come to, living my life. And this trip, we did a road trip for America up to here. We just did Route 66.
Whoa, we drove?
Yeah, we drove. We did a 15-part vlog series.
Oh, wow.
We filmed every day like a TV show. It'll be coming out soon on the Jack Hopkins Raw channel. We have the main channel and the Raw channel. We're just about to release it from Miami all the way to Scottsdale.
Wow.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy. We went through Texas, food challenges, fucking cars blew up and went on fire. We got stuck in hailstorms. We had a crazy fucking time.
A crazy journey, bro.
Yeah, now we've been staying in Scottsdale with the boys for a week.
Yeah.
But it was nuts, yeah.
You know, you mentioned a good thing there too, which I kind of like on the same page as you, where you just living now and you're just getting answers through experience. And I think the biggest lever for that is just being around other guys that are on the same mission as you too. Because it's so good, bro. The podcast or just filming with people and talking to people like yourself, it's like my favorite thing to do. I love talking to people. So anytime I sit down with somebody that's like-minded, online business owner, that's most of the people I have on. Yeah. We always hit it off. Bro. And like you just have another friend, another boy to hit up. Yeah. And just spit ideas and
good.
Just
we have to go out and get some dinner and stuff or hook up with the Wiener Bros after this.
I'm down
we'll be around for a bit.
Dope, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to do that, Frank.
100%.
But yeah, it's a life changer. That's what we do in New Elite. That's our high level network. We run all over the world. We've got 350 members around the world. We'll fly through and see them. We run in-person events. We have an online concierge where we help guys travel, 50% off luxury biz flights.
Oh, wow.
Like business class and first class, can pay crypto. We have got a whole concierge set up so they can plan all their travel. They can meet great guys. We run events for them. We do weekly calls where we look into maybe richer guys' personal brands and that sort of stuff. And having that brotherhood around you is a game changer. It is a fucking game changer. And be a good friend as well.
Yes.
Like, just be the guy to your friend that pushes him a little bit harder and doesn't accept his bullshit and call him out.
Yep.
Wes Watson says it, and say what you want about Wes. He's not perfect, but no one is. And there's stuff that Wes does wrong, but one thing that Wes gets really right is his daily discipline.
It's crazy.
And he says love ain't lies. And it's not. If you love someone, don't lie to them. Call them out on their bullshit. Tell them that they're a weak or a pussy and they need to train harder. Because that's actual love. And if they're mature enough, they'll understand it and they'll do things. And if you help them do that, they'll love you for it. You become a better people together.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. Luckily, I've got great guys around me. I've got Max, I've got Bill, I've got the Wiener Bros around me right now that will call me on my bullshit and make me work hard. And I'll call them on theirs. And that's a beautiful thing.
It's the best people to have around.
Best people to have. You have a few good girls around as well. Some feminine energy. You and the boys are running it up. Just making money each day. Fucking going to the gym. Smashing weight. Mate, it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it is.
The best life in the world.
Do you have any final points you want to share as we wrap up here?
Yeah, the biggest thing that's changed my life has been stopping thinking so much and just doing stuff. When I get an idea, to go and test it and actually get some data, because you don't know everything and you don't know what's going to work and you don't know what is going to work. And that's one of the biggest things in life, is taking that risk, taking action on something rather than just thinking about it. Because you can go around in your head for days. I'll give you an example. Wiener Bros gave me an idea for a promo post on IG 2 days ago. They said, oh, maybe you should try posting this, drive into DMs and use this DM strategy, and guys might join your program through it. And normally I would have to think about it and fucking run it through my head and run it by the team. But instead I was just chilling. I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's put it out. Closed 10K in about 2 hours. $10,000
in 2 hours
appeared in my life from taking action on something. And it might not be that. I've got a lot of levers I can pull now, and I'm well set up to do that. But seriously, the things that you try might just work. So just try more of them.
You know, I heard Luke Belmar the other day. He said, fail as fast as you can. Because obviously you're going to hit one of the times. Yeah. So just keep failing, because one of them is not going to be a failure. And that could be your breakthrough.
If it doesn't work, you have no other option but to try again. Never, ever admit defeat. You've got Donald Trump's 3 lessons in winning.
Yep.
Attack, attack, attack. What was the other one? The middle one.
I don't know. I only pointed at you because I knew exactly where you were going with never accept defeat. Yeah. And that's
his
third
his
motto.
One. Never accept defeat. Attack, attack, attack is the first one. And the middle one is... I think it's lie all the time. So that's not really a great one. Yeah, the middle one I didn't really agree with. It was like, your opinion's true, my opinion's true, his opinion's true. Always believe in your own opinion, and that could be quite damaging sometimes.
Yeah, what? I didn't even know
but
that
attack,
one.
attack, attack, and never admit defeat are very good lessons in life. Yeah. Back yourself, man. Like, go again, go again, go again. Turn it into a good story.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, Jack, I appreciate you coming on, bro.
Oh, man, Frank, it's been awesome. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yes, sir.
You're the man.
Yeah, you as well, man. We'll go out maybe after this and do something, cook up. But guys, of course, make sure to check out Jack's links in the description. I'll have everything tagged down below. Check out his YouTube, Instagram. And as always, don't be motivated, stay disciplined, and I'll see you in the next one.
Adios, amigos.